What is up? Facebook Sunday afternoon. Fatherhood for the rest of us. Podcaster, group, website. Brandon Hanley, Voice of a Generation. What's going on, guys? So, what is happening? A couple things today. One is I made a post last night as I was reading a coaching book, and I thought that it was kind of a cool quote. For those of you that make lists like myself, I'll make a list, make plenty of lists, and sometimes there's like one or two things that never, ever come off the list. And it's like every time you see it on the list, especially as a dad, especially as a father, especially if you go to work every day, you've got your list of things you got to get done, list of shit to do, at the home, at work, whatever. But if it never is going to get done, if it keeps showing up on your list, God, I have like 3 Davids watching. That's hilarious. What's up, David? Don't go. If there's something that's on your list and it's not really coming, it's not going to get done, cross off the list, man. Stop beating yourself up over it. Stop looking at it. If you're not going to do it, don't do it. Cross off the list. I loved it. I was like, how is it so simple? It's just simple. Cross it off the list. Don't do it. If you haven't done it after like a couple weeks or a few weeks or something, chances are it did not need to get done. So cross off the list. The other thing, what's on the today, man, what's up? I've jacked up both my fingers over the past couple weeks, actually like over the past like month and a half, and it's kept me from doing a couple of things that I enjoy doing. One of them being the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You kind of need your hands and grips. Like I jacked up my middle finger, pretty much sliced off the top of it, and the doctor's like, hey, don't do the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for like a week or so. And since it's also kind of lopped off at the top and not very well protected, I also like to swim a lot, and both of those are just kind of like exercise outlets, place to go and get some things done. And I haven't gotten to it for like since like Wednesday now, and I was like rattling my cage. I was like, oh my God, let me out, man. I'm stuck in my own head. I gotta do something, and I wasn't doing anything. And finally today is Sunday afternoon. Meg was kind enough to say, just go to the gym, get out. It's like, I know, I need to. I'm just going nuts, man. I'm just all tightened up, man. So I don't know what it is that you do that helps get you unwound, and what about some of you guys, especially as fathers, dads out there, mothers out there, parents, when you are not able to do your regular routine, do you have a fallback plan? I don't have a fallback plan. I think that was my problem. I was like, I got no fallback plan, and I was just going nuts, man. So if you have a fallback plan, I would love to hear your fallback plan for like exercise, like maybe a week. And what do you do, man? Sedation comes quickly to mind. A bunch of things that probably aren't legal come to mind. So all those recommendations are out. I'm trying to set a good example for my children. No, but really I am. And then, let's see, what else have I got today? Dude, can we get over spanking your children and timeout? Can we get over that? I don't, it doesn't seem like we can. It's like every other week in the dad groups, miscellaneous dad groups, I come into a post that says, which do you, and today's post was, do you prefer, like, which works better, timeout or spanking? And I just said both are crap. Both are crap. Neither one of them work, right? And I made a post to this course that I took called, and it's free, and there's plenty of books that go along with it. The guy, Dr. Kasdan, has written like 40 books to the effect of, first of all, like spanking is literally illegal in a number of other countries that aren't considered world powers like the United States was. Don't even know where we stand these days. However, when it comes to spanking, I believe that if we can't like not hit our children, we need to step back, man. If we cannot, if if our expectations of our children, like, oftentimes are like, hey, don't smack your brother, and you go and smack him, I mean, how does that fix things? You know, what message are you really sending? You know, in all likelihood, spanking your children is going to lead to them, you know, reacting that way to their friends at school. You know, it kind of perpetuates and goes, just continues down that vein. And then, you know, many studies, you know, go and show that it leads to, like, depression later in life, early promiscuity, all kinds of shit that we're trying to keep our kids from doing. But then you're met with, oh, I turned out okay. Did you turn out okay? Well, that's cool. Why the shortfall? You know, is really the question. What prevented you from being amazing or amazing? You know, what exactly, you know, I turned out fine is not an answer to that. Oh, that's the way I was raised. That's cool, man. I got all kinds of things that happened in my life that I consider normal and whatnot, but it doesn't mean that it was right, and it doesn't mean that, you know, just because I didn't go shooting up anything or do something crazy, it doesn't mean that I turned out okay, or you know, there's a shortfall. It could have gone in a different direction. I'm not placing blame, and I'm not saying anything, but if you really take a look at your life and you were spanked, if you were like, you know, you recall lots of times being in timeout, and you recall that fixing your life in perpetuity, I would love to hear about it. I would love somebody to come on and be like, you know what, if I wasn't spanked, I wouldn't be the president of the country. And I'm personally guessing Trump was spanked, but you know, I don't really consider I don't really consider him when I consider the president. As a matter of fact, today there was something I thought that was missing, and that was you know, class. If anybody had, like, the, you know, shitty things to say about Obama, there was one thing that he always had, and that was class. And you know what else he said was a really fine example for, you know, a father and how, you know, he could behave and be a part of a family. And you know, his wife was always there with him. There was not, like, if you look at watch Trump and the reaction that he gets from his family, like, it's literally laughable. He's shunned. And I'll tell you what, I mean, that's the last place I ever want to find myself anyway. Sorry about that little, sorry about falling off topic for that. But, you know, if we can be, you know, these finer examples for our children, and that's fine. I just got done, like I said, doing this little quick run because I needed to get out. I needed to just let some out of my system. And just, like, random energy, good, bad, other, just all of it, just kind of, it was over stockpiled. But, energy, that is. And while I was listening to like Wayne Dyer for a second, and you know, he was talking about, you know, acting as the individual, because the group is going to act as the individual acts, right? So if you as an individual can act a certain way, there's a good chance that your whole group is going to end up acting that way. That's what I took away from it, and that is really the micro macro of our family, right? Like, if I as a father cannot lose my shit too often, and if I can restrain myself from hitting my children, I'm kind of hoping that, you know, they're not going to hit anybody else, right? If I can talk to my children, like, in a normal level, or my wife in a normal level, and I display that for my children and myself, you know, then maybe, just maybe, if I'm lucky, that model gets replicated outside of the home. So there's a huge hope that, you know, my two children one day are going to spawn other children, and I said spawn, and you know, maybe there's like, you know, 10 or 15 other kids down the line that don't get hit, that aren't bringing violence into the way to solve things as a resolution, that aren't saying, hey, you're not meeting my expectations, go sit in a corner because you failed me for the last time. You know, it doesn't work that way, guys. And then we also got to kind of turn a light on ourselves and look at ourselves. What do you know what to do that you're not doing? All right. And then look at your children and be like, just because maybe you think, maybe they know what your expectations of them are, maybe, and then they don't do what's expected of them, give them like a little bit of space, man. According to the books, again, like 80% is the maximum of the most well-behaved child, according to the book. And you know what? So it's that if your children are acting decently, like 80% of the time, they're meeting like the maximum best that's, in the studies. So it's that 20% of the time that's driving you absolutely batshit bonkers. I get it. I'm not saying I'm amazing with it. I'm just saying take some of this stuff into your brain and just store it away somewhere. And then also remember yourself. You know what you're supposed to do, but don't do it. I smoked for 16 years. I drank for 20 some odd years. I did countless number. I can't even name all the substances that I put into my body that I knew I shouldn't have, and there was a great potential that was just a bad idea to begin with. But I did it anyways, even though I knew I wasn't supposed to. I know I should have a routine. I know I should be organized. I know this, that, the other thing. I know all kinds of shit that I'm supposed to do that I don't do. But I can't expect my children, who I have just an influence over, but no control over, like I've got control over myself, to do all the things that I expect them to, because I don't even do all the things that I expect myself to do. Woo! So guys, try not to hit your children, because really, it's just not the right thing to do. Studies prove that, just like studies prove that the earth is round. Real similar studies. And that's it. I'm going to go in and I flame off, man. Just made me nuts. I can't believe we're still having these conversations. Anywho, I'm going to get in the door and I'll talk to y'all later.